My biggest concern is when I hear about the earthquakes increasing, and when I look back many years ago, I can't recall that many happening.
I think natural disaster, I mean, for every century there's like tons of them, so you can't do anything about it. It's natural. That's why you say natural.
I think the Earth is trying to tell us to wake up. As far as with the ozone layer, it's trying to say help me, because we're just totally depleting the whole entire Earth, and one of these days we're going to be basically out of luck, and none of us are going to be alive because all the trees are going to be gone, the water's going to be polluted, and we're all going to be dead.
In Revelation chapter 11 verse 18 we read, "The nations were angry, and your wrath has come, and should destroy those who destroy the earth." God knew that man, left unchecked in his selfishness and greed, would eventually destroy the earth. And we watch as man continues to ravage the environment, giving no concern for the future generation. It is a matter of fact that this generation has done more to destroy planet Earth than any generation before. Consider one statistic. According to Al Gore in his book Earth in the Balance, we are exponentially destroying thousands of animal, bird, and fish species each year. This destructive trend began during our current generation.
We're seeing some catastrophic environmental effects in this country with wetland loss and topsoil loss.
Scientists know very well today that atmospheric carbon dioxide is increasing very significantly.
We know with certainty that the burning of fossil fuels is causing significant damage to the Earth's biosphere.
By the time we get into the middle of the next century, a magnitude of heat wave or a drought that we might have only experienced once in the 20th century, we might be experiencing once every 10 years.
This generation is witnessing tremendous environmental destruction, not due to population growth, but rather to a selfish and gluttonous society that has polluted our water, air, and land, all under the banner of progress and advancement.
One of the concerns that we have with the depletion of the ozone layer is that we know that ultraviolet radiation increases, and that ultraviolet radiation actually causes skin cancer. And it's interesting, according to the Bible, in the book of Revelation, that the Bible talks about sores breaking out on the flesh of people. So certainly it's a possibility that this very scenario that's taking place is preparing us for something which is yet to come.
Of course, if there were a major exchange of nuclear weapons, this would dramatically decrease the ozone blanket that protects and shields the Earth, and it would be even more dangerous for people to have any exposure to the sun. Already we are having skin cancers and so many problems that have developed because of the increased radiation now, but it's going to increase even more according to the prophecies in the book of Revelation.
International initiative is needed to seek new solutions for ozone depletion and global warming and acid rain.
The concentration of carbon dioxide in the air has increased by over 10% since 1958, and by nearly 25% since the Industrial Revolution.
Without ozone in our atmosphere, I would probably need a sunscreen protection factor of 500, and probably even that would not be enough.
Concerning the very last days, we read in Revelation chapter 16, "Then the fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and power was given to him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat. They blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and did not repent of their deeds." Without the ozone layer protecting us, we would literally be scorched. Add to that the continued trend toward global warming and the greenhouse effect, and it's not difficult to see how this prophecy might soon be fulfilled.
One of the things that concerns people today is to see the erratic changes that are taking place in weather. Almost every day when we turn on the television or read the newspapers, we find that something is taking place in the world where there is a great catastrophe occurring. These are exactly the kinds of things that Jesus talked about, the warning signs which would indicate that the time of his return was soon.
Several prophetic references are made that imply an increase in chaotic weather in the last days. Jesus said, "For in those days there will be tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of creation." And the Apostle Paul writes that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs, eagerly awaiting the redemption. Just as a woman's birth pangs increase in frequency and strength as the time of delivery draws near, so too, the Bible tells us, the creation will groan and labor with increased frequency. Even the Apostle John in the book of Revelation writes of noises, thunderings, lightnings, earthquakes, hail, and fire during Earth's final days. The following quote was taken from the December 1994 issue of World Watch, a collection of press reports compiled by the environmental group Greenpeace from 6 continents between 1990 and 1994, displays a remarkable litany of the highest floods, longest droughts, most severe wildfires, and worst heat waves ever recorded. They go on to say that since the late 80s, hurricanes have struck various parts of the world with alarming frequency.
Among the many prophecies that Jesus gave as signs of the last days, his disciples said, "Master, what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the world," and so forth. And he laid it out for them. And among them was famine and pestilence. And there's an estimated 5 to 20 million people who die of starvation each year. As far as pestilence is concerned, I mean, everybody knows about AIDS. That's an amazing virus that has struck in the last days.
We are reading constantly of the tremendous famines that are gripping different areas of the world, and along with those, of course, the viruses, the HIV, and many different viruses that we have not really found yet the answer for. So these are all signs of the soon return of Jesus Christ.
We've just seen the devastating effects of the environment. Earthquake, famine, pestilence, the depletion of the ozone. You may say it's easy to predict these things. I could predict an earthquake, and quite possibly the paper would have it in its edition tomorrow. But can you possibly explain the increased rapidity of these things all at once worldwide? Now we'll explore technology. How could possibly 4,000 years ago a prophet describe so implicitly the technology that's taking place worldwide today if it didn't exist then?
Among the prophecies in Daniel, of course, in the last days, he very clearly specifies the last days, knowledge will increase and many will run to and fro. And I do an awful lot of traveling, probably 150,000 miles a year. And I can tell you, I think of it every time I go into an airport. And I can remember when it wasn't like this. It's amazing. You go into an airport, millions and millions of people running to and fro. I mean, I'm off to Europe. I was just the last couple of months I've been in South America and South Africa, both. It's astonishing. Running to and fro, exactly as the Bible said. And knowledge will increase. I mean, you look at a computer and think what's happening. The explosion of knowledge on the internet, it's exponential. It's beyond what anybody could have ever imagined. And the increase in knowledge is exactly as the Bible foretold.
According to the prophet Daniel, whose words were recorded some 2,500 years ago, in the last days we would expect a time when people would travel to and fro, literally around the world, and knowledge would increase. There would be an explosion of information. Today, as we look at the information age in which we live, we see that the words of Daniel are being fulfilled before our very eyes.
It's interesting that in the days of David or Abraham, we communicated with handwritten messages. We traveled at the speed of horseback, and we clothed ourselves with